Alright, let's get flipped over. What's that? Look at that. Alright. I think the music is at a comfortable level now. It's kind of weird because it doesn't change in my ears, but I'm just lowering the bar. Alright, so I want y'all to know, ladies and gents, Twitch would not let me put frog tossing in the title of the stream. I was updating all the stuff and getting it set up and was trying to hit the save button. I was like, why isn't it working? And it scrolled up and the title was all in red. It's like, this violates our terms of service. You can't live stream frog tossing? What? Hey, Swords and Stones, what's going on? Yeah, we got the fancy animation now. We're getting fancier with this whole streaming thing. Would toss your toad? Yeah, man. Apparently Twice Dead used to toss some toads back in the day. Twice tosser. Alright, so I did a little work behind the scenes, trying to figure it out. And I still think the frog tosser as a concept is incredibly stupid and silly, but the more I work on it, the more I like it, so it's definitely staying. But it is very silly. Twitch won't let you do that because propaganda says one of their golden boys. Yeah, oh yeah, but they have a, yeah, well, what's his name? Hassan Piker, or it's Piker, isn't it? I thought he was on the downward trend though, since he got caught abusing his poor doggy. Like a morning of toad tossing. Yeah, man, gets the blood flowing. So, I was also trying to figure out how to do this a little better before stream, but couldn't figure out a good way. Because when you get to doing a lot of text on Excalidraw, it's not the best. Because like you have to make a bunch of different text blocks to separate anything. So like I can't just say, oh, I want this part to stand out more by changing the color. It changes the whole thing. So we're still in Excalidraw though. We'll make it work. We'll just have weird highlighty boxes like this going around. I am live streaming again, mustache. That's not Biker. Yep. Miserable. Yeah, I've never watched him. I've just seen clips of him. And the only reason I know about him is because I used to watch Mauler, his YouTube channel. And I still like the stuff he does on his own. But he's, the past few years or so, actually been multiple years at this point, they started this collab thing where he's, you know, doing all this other stuff with other people, and they all kind of came after Hassan at one point. That's the only reason I know. But I don't. I watched that when they were first getting started, but it's just, I miss the old Mauler. He had some really good stuff. The Frogadier! Yeah, well, we're not going to call it the Frogadier. It is just the Frog Tosser. Although I really like the name Frogadier. That was very clever that you came up with that. Hello, what's up, Blaze? I need my traditional food pick. Yeah, the Frogadier is a good name. And if the frogs were disposable and expendable, I would definitely go that route. But the frog's more like a pet. You keep getting it back, so I don't feel like it fits. But definitely, we should all hang on to it. Put it in our idea banks. And so if we ever get to making something else and it fits. Because you could have a frog with a ton of grenades. You know, the frog's throwing the grenades and he's the Frogadier. Or you could, somebody's throwing frog grenades. So. But it is pretty great. Grandpa was a card-carrying member of the Chilean Communist Party. I have some respect for communists, but none for Hassan. Yeah, he's like one of those pretenders, I guess. Frog yo-yoer. That's more accurate. You can just use his tongue like the yo-yo string. Whop. That would be funny. Alright, so let's just start. Frog Tosser's last. So let's just start at the top here. And I guess this is what I'll do. I'll just take a screenshot of the document. Beetle Buster. Where's Lizard Rider? Oh, Spider Rider. I was looking at it right here. Okay. So here's the document. Might be kind of hard to see. So I don't think a lot changed here. Because we haven't talked about it last time. It was like, oh yeah, the Spider Rider, just make it a lizard. I was back and forth. It's like, is the lizard too big? Is it going to be able to fit in dungeons? But I'm like, all right, we're just going to leave the rider thing and let the table figure it out. Electric toads. Shocker. Electric toads are pretty good. Frog with expendable pet insects. Ooh, I mean, they are literally insects that explode. So that, hey, yeah, there you go. They just spit them out. Boom beetles. So, yeah, the trusted companion stayed exactly the same for the most part. I just changed spider to reptile. And then I added this little bit. Consult with the rabble rouser to give your reptile a special ability, such as gecko feet for climbing up walls or ceilings, spitting, a tail that can grapple foes, chameleon camouflage, you know, something just to make your lizard unique and get a special perk. Which is very similar to the Beastmaster in Corey's D6, because it's like, hey, consult with the rabble rouser to see what your beast can and can't do. And I clarify, your reptile has three strikes, and do all their lizard things with a boom. So, and then down here, I think it says your reptile will use your armor and miraculous save settings, or stats, not settings. I had to think of the word. Cyros, what's up, man? Spitting exploding flies. I mean, it'd be pretty cool. Time I hear Spider Riders, I think of the kids. Is that a show? Spiders in front of kids. I mean, Spider Rider is such a cool name, though. I am sad the spiders are going away, but it makes sense. I'll hang on to it for another. Like I said, in the idea vault. Warts on their backs that pop out missiles. Or corrosive goo. That would be gross. But it makes sense. So other than that, you still get to ride the lizard, get your boon to ranged attacks. You're still that mounted cavalry kind of thing. Instead of arachnophobia, we just have scary scales. Does the same thing. Get a boon to your predator rating when you're riding. Your saddlebags is the same. Evasive maneuvers is the same. So yeah, instead of normally it was flexible when you had the spider, that justified that they could get into smaller places as long as you weren't riding them. But you know, lizards can kind of squeeze down kind of flat. I did a little research. Apparently some squeeze this way too. They like and go in tall, skinny places. It's very weird. Anyway, your steed is bigger than you are. This means there will be times when the two of you together are just too big and it doesn't make sense for you to ride. When this happens, you may dismount and have your reptile follow along. When dismounted, the reptile will use your armor and miraculous save ratings. You can both move individually on your turn during combat, but only one can take the attack action. And then there's just a note. Your steed is technically bigger than you are. If you're having to crawl on your hands and knees to squeeze through something small, your lizard might not be able to make it. So it's just kind of up to your table how you want to handle that. It could be interesting, like if you're very heavily dependent on your lizard and then you get into a tight fit and you're like, oh man, this is gonna be risky. I gotta leave him behind, or meet him around on the other side. Lizards are weird in general. They sure aren't. Not much, just enjoying a day off. Ooh. Doing a bit of work on my game as well. Well, that sounds to me like a good day off. Getting to work on your own stuff. Do your days off, they random, or are you always off on Thursdays? It's an anime. I left a couple pictures and memes and media. Oh, let's go look. Let's go look. Spider Riders. Oh, they got like spider mechs. Okay, I mean that makes more sense. Can Peter handle those Can Peter handle robotic bugs? Let's I mean, it's anime. Of course, it's mechs. That's pretty cool though. What is it? The ghost in the shell? I feel like somebody posted this No, they posted a Vampire Hunter D in the Squirrel chat. Hi, Cat. I see you down there. Ghost in the Shell for PlayStation 1 had a killer intro animation, and it was two spider bots just duking it out. I think that's what it was from, anyway. We're gonna have handouts ready for this con I'm going to next weekend. Should have been working on it. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, you're gonna need some handouts for, is it Open D6? Is that what you're calling it? They're organic, believe it or not. I can believe it. It's anime. They don't look it though. I wouldn't have guessed, but I can believe it. It varies. Last week it was Wednesday. Next couple of weeks it will be Thursday. Yeah. Okay. So you got like that rotating retail hours almost. I had a job where I used to work. What was it? I know I was off Sunday. And then I think, yeah, it was Thursday and Friday. I was off Sunday, Thursday, and Friday. I worked 10-hour shifts. And it sounds like such a messed up schedule, but to this day, despite that being 20 years ago, that was my favorite schedule I've ever had. I also worked like 9 to 7 or something weird like that, or 6. I got a little bit of a late start, but it was nice because when I drove into work, everybody was already at work. You know, I didn't have to deal with the traffic, and when I drove back, everybody was already home. So I had an easy ride in and easy ride back. And then Thursday and Friday, I had 2 whole days to myself. Everybody else was at work, so I could do what I wanted, but I could also get things done because, you know, all the businesses are usually open 8 to 5. So it's like, just go get everything taken care of on Thursday and Friday, and then Sunday, like a regular day off. It was pretty nice. Open D6, yeah, okay. Open Legend D6. Howdy from work, taking a break from listening to Andy Serkis read The Hobbit to hang out. Aw, that's a good listen. An online shopping associate at Walmart. How does that work? You help people shop, or you test shop things, or you like, when they're having trouble with the site, are you the one they chat with? This is me typing, by the way. 2 days, 2 nights, and 2 free is the standard rotation most medical. Yeah, and you know, Twice Dead, that's something I super don't understand about the medical field. Like, here in the States, like, nurses have really weird shifts. Like, they'll work like 3 or 4 days straight, like no sleep. They're just always in the hospital on call, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then they're home for a week or something like that. It seems like that's somebody, you know, drawing your blood and patching you up and taking care of you. I do not want them to be sleep deprived. Seems like a weird thing to do. Summonable from a wristband, very Pokemon coded on that. But now that I think of it, there's an element of magical garment girl, and it is armored, summoned with a spider. MGG genre for shonen? Maybe. I go around the store picking on... Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay. It has registered now. I got you. Yeah, you're the one with the cart. You're loading up with all the little buckets and everything. Heck yeah, man. I tried the online thing once or twice, and I was just like, no, I'm fine with going in and getting it myself. This feels too lazy for me. We sleep in the hospital, we take naps. Yeah, but that's the thing, like, you're constantly getting interrupted, and it's just... It wouldn't work well for me. I'd be half asleep trying to stick somebody with a needle. Well, some of us are at work right now. I won't tell anybody. Our dirty little secret. I will say though, Cyrus, what I wish Walmart or some of these places would start doing, I wish they could do the online thing, but instead of you having to sit in your car and wait for it to be delivered, or, you know, brought out to you, I wish they just had a little mini warehouse, right? So it's like you get it all set, then I go in, find my order, grab all my stuff, and come out. You know, that I could do that. House chores while listening. Man, everybody's busy. Getting in the way of customers, getting constantly asked from where something is, I'm resulting in pointing 5 feet away. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the aisles, you know, were designed at a specific width for a reason, and then they added this online shopping thing where the associates have to go in with their big cart, and it's like, the aisles weren't made for that. So, but hey, man, job's a job. Roast some pork. Ooh. Bust into some lunch. What'd you bring for lunch, Wisp? Alright. So that's Spider Rider. He is now Reptile Rider. Not a whole lot going on there. The Beetle Buster. Line between sleep deprived nurse and fresh as a lettuce nurse. This is undistinguishable unless in high demand situations. Well, that's good. Let's set this right here for now. Because the stress will keep you on edge. Oh, is that the trick? Just stress yourself out? I mean, it probably works. Alright, let's see. Where is... Swarm Master ain't got a lot going on. Alright. So, Beetle Buster. That was the one where you had a big beetle with you and you were boxing and you were both... The idea was you were both moving at the same time. So now, instead of an overgrown beetle, you have the entire swarm. Just a swarm of little things. 17 an hour, 5 years in, it pays the bills. Luckily, Iowa is fairly light on the cost. That's good. I also live in a very low cost of living area. And it's wild, you know, because when I'll go out of town somewhere, it's like, oh my gosh, everything is so expensive. I get used to those low prices. Black beans, rice, green beans, a little tuna salad, and salsa. Beans. So anyway, I think it's... What changed here? Nothing. I don't think anything changed. Dope trouble. I did clarify the counterattack for Mustache. So you take that point of damage, but your swarm comes in. Might need to do something different there because there is a predator ability that does that. That's very, very similar. So, but other than that, it is the same thing. It is 1-to-1. Recently found out about fake video game guides through Questing Beast, and it captured my imagination. They're fictitious guides for non-existent games. World interesting. So when you say game guide, are you talking like old? Well, I say old, but like players' guides for video games, or a game guide, like a rule book for a game that doesn't exist? Though I guess if it had rules, that would make it exist, wouldn't it? Clarification, yeah. Well, it would stack Mustache. It would, but it feels redundant. Like, well, if I have this, why would I pick that one? Kind of thing. Let's go see what that does. Predator abilities. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's just called counterattack. Once per round on a successful armor save, you can make an attack in retaliation. So, I want to change one of those. I don't know if it'll be the job or the predator ability. I feel like I got a few predator abilities that are kind of on the weak side creatively. So, like reading a Prima guide for a game that was never pretty arty. That would be cool. But I almost feel like, you know, if you can do that, is that like your, what do you call it? Your proof of concept? It's like, hey, here's a game we could make, you know? The guide's already done. Player manuals for fictional video games. Yeah. That's cool. I double dip 2 damage to someone when I take a hit. Whoa. Vermis is a big one that kind of kicked it off. Oh, I gotta go check this out. Because that sounds like a fun project. Vermis. Vermis book, Vermis game, Vermis 2. Is this it? Mr. Orkman? Official guide. Looks like an old Atari box cover. I'm not old, I swear. You might encounter the following monstrosities. Interesting. Very interesting. What a concept. That's it, yeah? That's pretty cool. Autocorrect remains your nemesis. It does for everyone. Dubious friend. Man-shaped figure dancing and jiggling in the dark. Its feet do not touch the ground. When light is shed over it, the creature will be quickly pulled away to the next dark corner by some kind of limb on its back. And he's got like a face that way and a face that way. That's cool. Very interesting. I'm gonna make a little note. Sticky note. What do we call that? Fake game manuals. Cause that's neat. Alright. So yeah, let's put a little... Let's put a little thing around that. Because I kind of want to work on it a little bit. See if we can't come up with something more interesting. Would it fall in a similar space creatively as short stories? Does it include enough mechanics you could accidentally create a TTRPG from it? If not a computer game? So that's what I was wondering. Like, if you have a proper player's guide, like from the days of old. You got maps of the dungeons if you got a Zelda game and all the enemy stat blocks and stuff. And lore and chests and hidden locations and stuff. Like, you know, just make a player's guide for a Metroidvania. Like, I feel like that's a significant chunk of the work would be designing it, though I guess you wouldn't know if it actually worked until you made it. But it's pretty cool. I feel like this art style genre thing got started as a big troll. Somebody made this elaborate guide for a game that looked super cool and then just put it out there on the internet for people to find. And they're like, what game is this? Why can't I find it? It looks so cool. And just never told anybody. Is Tunic any good? Isn't that the one where you're playing the little fox dude that's like a Zelda style game? Does or could the swarm act as armor, taking damage for the critter control? Yeah, so let's see. That was the idea of counterattack. Was they could absorb, or wait, no, I'm thinking of what the swarm used to be. Okay. Because we had a swarmer class and we did away with it and brought the swarm over to this beetle buster thing. Some corny sounding music. So he does not act the big thing about this one is that the bugs are not acting on their own. They're just, whatever you do, they're doing it with you. So that's why you get some extra bennies to when you're attacking, but you also cleave attacks. Yeah, cleaving or area of effect attacks hit you twice because they're hitting your swarm and you. Swarm could also isolate the swarm master and a singular opponent. Yeah. Tunic rocks. Tunic is really good. Just do not try to get the good ending without a guide, or maybe even with one. Oh, is it hard? I didn't know there were multiple endings. Well, there's the banjo. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Where is... There's the room I'm looking for. Isolate the Swarm Master. Have a one-on-one. Impossible to find the good ending on your own. You're trapped in here. Yeah, you could do that, but there are some predator abilities that kind of lean towards that. Like the taunt or whatever that makes them focus on you. If you play it going blind, it has NES style manual in-game that's part of it all. Ooh, captures the magic of wonder and discovery without being a slave to games that came before. That is a heck of a description. And I'm sold. Are they being balanced around the comparison of an armed character? The swarm acting as a whipping? Yeah, I mean, they do. So this is easy D6. I don't know if you've played it or not. You roll D6s. Big surprise there. And normally it's you roll multiple D6s and you pick the highest. This guy, and then it counts as one hit, unless you crit. Where is it? Fist of Fury, your swarm, whenever you roll the attack, yeah. So the perk of the swarm is each die you roll counts as its own attack. So if multiple dice hit the threshold you need, you get to do multiple points of damage. So it's much more of an aggressive class, or offensive class. But I was thinking... You do get a boon to your armor saves. That's right. Which I gotta figure out if it's better to give them a boon as an additional die or just change the value. So the bad ending, play the game normally. Good ending, go out of bounds on the tutorial level to gain a key under the map for an invisible door in the last level kind of deal. Did you just spoil the whole game for me? Or was that just a random example? Oh, there's a question you were asking. Tunic also explicitly encourages community and discussion, so while you should try to do so yourself, don't feel ashamed to ask around. The fans are helpful yet obtuse. Oh, that's good. So I've probably said this a bunch before, but pre-internet. that was one of my favorite things about old video games, was not having all the answers right there at the internet, especially like day one. And then talking with friends who also played the game. And just the rumors that would get started, you know. I'm sure we all, or at least the older ones of us, have a specific rumor we remember about an old video game that was super not true. Like doing something really hard and really dumb. But yeah, just discovering those tricks and swapping tricks and things and secrets with different people instead of just... Here's the wiki, everything's revealed for you day one. You know, takes all the fun out of it. For me. I know some people like that. So, anyway, let's go to the frog tosser here. Because this was the cool one. The one I was really... more attached to than I thought I would be. Frog tosser. Bloop. Why is it all faded looking? Oh. That's why. Bigger Dungeon and Minish Cap got us looking under every pixel for a week straight. Interesting. So, when I was just filling out the Frog Tosser flavor text, I had the fun idea. Frog Tosser is a slang term for those who spend their time wandering without direction. So, what I think I want to do with this class, it'll still mostly stay the same. It's just going to change like 1 or 2 perks. We had talked many a time in these streams about having a jack of all trade classes, something that was just kind of flat and gave you more options. Like, hey, maybe it'll let you pick more inclinations or something. That way, if any of the specializations weren't really ringing true for you, that way you could just customize more the way you wanted. I think that's what the Frog Tosser is going to do. I think it's going to fill that hole. Because we have, you get a boon to either melee or ranged. So right off the bat, you get that option, which was from the base class anyway. So, frog friend, you have a pet frog that rides on your shoulder. Can't really communicate, follows basic commands. That's it. Similar to the lizard, if it's got any quirks, get with your rabble rouser. Now, Twice did. You had some concerns about this one. Way of the frog. So long as the frog remains on your shoulder, enemies can't crit on you. You were worried that that would be too strong. Rightfully so. I think it would be alright depending on the enemy types you were fighting, but doesn't matter because we have a predator ability that does that already. So that's... I had to come up with something different there, but hold on to that thought. You also have Pester. You throw your frog and it sticks to an enemy. So long as they're stuck to the enemy, that enemy attacks with a bane. Does not count as your action. Expose, same concept, but so long as a frog is on them, people can crit on 5+ instead of 6. The sacrifice, your froggy can absorb a hit, but then he's out for the rest of the fight. So I like these because they kind of let you pick what you want to be buffed up in. So it's like, oh, I'd rather, I want basically to make my armor go up. So these guys have a less chance of hitting me. So you use this one. Or if it's like, I want to deal more damage, it's like, I can do this one. So each battle and each guy you're fighting, you can kind of choose which way you lean in for that extra customization. So I'm wondering, instead of this, I mean, I guess we can still keep it the way of the frog, but instead of the crit thing, maybe just give them an extra inclination that they can choose from. Give more of that wanderer, jack of all trades kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking. Like chicken kicking? Maybe. Didn't get your own console until 2009. Yeah, you missed out on that era. It was, I'll admit, it was kind of short-lived, but because by the time the Super Nintendo came out, there was internet, and then there was guides. This was also a fun time. So, when the internet was new, kind of that Super Nintendo era, people were making all their little websites, but all the guides at that time were just text files. That's all it was, just written in Notepad, and they were trying to make maps out of, ASCII characters and everything. So that's all it was. Half of them were wrong. You never knew, that's how more rumors started going around. Because some people would just be trolling and just make something up and post it and be like, yeah, this totally works. And then some people were just repeating what they heard. So you still had that element of mystery. You didn't know what was and wasn't true. But it didn't take very long after that, though, when things started filtering out. And now I feel like... So you had player's guides you could buy. like the actual physical books. Then the internet hit. Then you had these text-based ones, and they were very hit and miss. And then they started getting better and better and better and more accurate. And then somewhere, some like IGN or whatever it is got involved, and like the few times I've tried to look up a guide because I just couldn't figure something out, like it's hard to find a guide that's legible now, because they're just wasn't it IGN that not too long ago all the writers got told, hey, you have to make like 3 guides a day or something for a full game? So everything's just AI spit out, and it's a 10-page article of, hey, here's how you add this thing to your ship in Starfield or something. It's just like, should be a 1-line answer. And you just gotta scroll and scroll and scroll, and then there's advertisements and pop-ups. It's just like, holy crap. Like, I haven't seen a legitimate guide in a long time. But it also hasn't been looking very frequently, so. Let's see. Work slang is good. I can see frog tosser being both a badge of honor and a duty. Yeah, see, that would be cool. I like it. Twice is correct. Some of the puzzles are beyond comprehension of mortals. Is there a separate check for attack and damage and easy? Yeah, so an easy d6. No. I'm sorry, I read your question wrong. So when you attack, you just roll your d6s, pick the highest, and if it, meets the threshold, you do 1 damage. That's it. Unless you roll a 6. Now, easy d6 has exploding crits. So if you roll a 6, you roll another d6, and if it lands on a 6, then you do another point of damage, and you roll another die, and you can just keep going. Just doom, 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 doom. And yeah, sometimes players will one-shot your boss. Not always, but sometimes. So no attack and damage rolls, or individual rolls. It's all just the one. GameFAQs is still a good source for the OG guide. Sometimes you find a printed paperback like tips and tricks for 45 NES games. Yeah, I like the frog for your thoughts. Let's do that. A frog for your thoughts. Gain an extra inclination of your choice. Many video game journalists never know rest or reward. Yeah, well, a lot of them aren't very good at their job either. We know how that goes. Which has kind of soured the whole industry, right? So the people who would do good at it typically don't want to get into it. What was it? Resident Evil, the new Resident Evil game. It didn't do it. But reviews for the new Resident Evil game outed some company. What was it? Then their game journalists were just all made up. They were just AI. Golly, what company was that? I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Apparently that's the cycle. Companies, starts off with regular people, and they start getting reviewers and journalists and stuff, and when they gain a little bit of traction, somebody comes in, buys the company, axes all the writers, and then just has like one writer pumping everything out through AI or whatever means, Maybe explicitly non-combat inclinations. Do you like static damage on attacks? I find it makes life a lot easier. An easy d6, you can do more damage by just having more attacks. So like if you're going up against a really dangerous boss, you give them multiple attacks and I don't know. I feel like it just makes things go easier instead of having to keep up with HP pools. I mean, technically you still have a pool, right? But it's like 3 to 5, and you're just one hit at a time. I mean, that's how nuts works. It's just one hit unless you have that one shell that lets you do 2 damage. I just find it works a lot better because then you can very easily flip into narrative damage, which is like you can just stop tracking health, at least on the enemies. The players have to be on board with it if they want to do that with their character. But you just say, oh yeah, you lop the dragon's leg off. All right, he's struggling now. And don't even worry about what the damage is. So now that said, in video games, I like HP pools. And armor reduction or armor reducing damage and everything, because I don't have to keep up with all of it. It's all done in the blink of an eye. Multiple attacks capable of crits is super. Yes. Planning on Dark Mecha to have static damage and is worried people will miss the extra roll. I mean, yeah, some people will, but then some people will also appreciate the way it's done. So, here's the thing. I'll give you a little scrat advice. Something I have learned in my years. No matter what you do, writing, music, ttrpg design, whatever, you have an audience somewhere. Somebody will like what you make. So make what you want to make and then find your audience. So if you want static damage, make static damage. Because there are people out there that like that. There you go. I'm off my soapbox. It was a very short one. Can't please them all. That's right. That's right. So might as well just do what you want. Like I said, there's... not to pick on them or single them out or anything, but I think it was F for Ash in the Discord. Like, he's not a fan at all of the way Nuts handles difficulty and stuff. Like, the GM has to determine that number on the fly. He doesn't like that, and that's okay. Like, he likes... D&D-esque style things where enemies have stat blocks that he can refer to, and there's a lot of people like that. They like to have that hard-coded, no, this goblin is always AC 15 or whatever. That's fine. I don't like it, so I didn't make it. Or you keep adding options until you have something for everyone. Yep, then you can make world shapers like Blaze over there. Now, I will say, kudos to Blaze. I did not think this would be... I don't want to say I didn't think it was possible, but I didn't think it would work as good as it did. So Blaze has world shapers. You all know that. I say it's on the crunchier side, but it's more like... It's D&D level. 5e level of crunch. Now, the character creation customization, you could do some really crazy wombo combo out there stuff, but playing it is... it's not hard. But he added an option to where one player can play essentially a narrative styled character where I'm gonna do this, and then the GM tells him what to roll. That character can play alongside the other people playing by the regular rules of the game, and it works. I was a cornbread wizard. We tested it out. People who said that everything in the game is not possible have not tried hard enough. Swarmer giving extra attacks with crits might be too strong compared to just extra attacks. Well, no, so... Thyros, the Swarmer right now can... He doesn't attack... He doesn't get multiple attack turns. It just... His dice pool, whatever that is, each die will count as a hit. So you could... call that multiple attacks, but each die can crit. It's just a much lower chance of actually hitting, since each individual die is its own attack. So he does have the chance to do 2 to 3, and that's right out of the book. There's an ability like that. I think it's the Rascal. He has the gank ability. If you surprise a foe or an enemy or an enemy is engaged with another combatant, you roll 2d6, and you do a wound for each die that hits, and each can still crit. So I'm using that logic. Except the Swarmer always has that active, because he has a swarm. But the payoff is you can take multiple hits from like cleave attacks. I also was gonna say, because you were asking earlier, we were talking about big monsters doing more stuff. Like, yeah, so like there's a gargoyle in the back. I know the book's not on the screen, but there's a gargoyle in the back of the book. He's very fragile. He can only take a couple hits, and he's pretty easy to hit, but he has 4 attacks, and it's just claw, bite, and horns. It's up to you how that goes flavorfully. Oh man, best viewers. Here we go. Ban. All I get is bots on Twitch. You're out of here, cuz. But anyway, 4 attacks from that gargoyle that's rough. Like, that's dangerous. Let's say in a giant, yeah, the weapon's sweep attack hits all targets in melee and does 2 strikes. So like there's a little wiggle room for adjustment there. But generally it's one hit. So wrapping my head around the mechanical balance. Yeah, man, it's all good. Even if you don't know, just throwing out random ideas can lead to other things. Trying to please everyone, get you D&D 5.5. Best pick one. Yep. Yeah, and you see that so much. Like, people just forget what the core audience is, like what brought them there, and they're trying to get. When I say people, I'm talking about like bigger companies, like a lot of video game companies. You know, they try to get extra reach. And yeah, you're right. It's very much what Hasbro did. They just wanted to expand that reach as much as possible, while completely forgetting what got them there, which ticks off their original fan base. Because, you know, we're all obsessed with as much growth as possible, right? Make the company as big as you can, get as many sales as you can, blah, 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 blah. Whine, moan, groan. So, for inclinations that the froggy guy could pick as an extra, well, so you get 2 normally, so now you would get 3. I guess there's some good options here. Let me do this, lads. Let me do this. Let me put that there. I think if I do this, void. Oh, that didn't do nothing. Oh, there it is. It found it automatically. Looky there. Okay, very cool. If we zoom, big zoom. All right, we zoomed a little too much. We zoomed a little too close to the sun. Oh, this isn't a table. That's my problem. I don't know if y'all they'd be able to read that anyway, but that's the Word doc. Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to get these because you'd already have one, and they don't stack. You could start with extra karma. Can only ever be knocked prone by crits. Social checks. Cannot be surprised. Yeah, and all these purple ones, these are just straight out of the core book, so they just got different names. Can steal, boon to spotting traps, find hidden treasure, can sneak. Use your action combat, yeah. Start with extra sandwiches. Be good at killing hollow tons. So yeah, I mean, like I said, you already get 2. So getting that 3rd one, I feel like, is pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. Like fate concepts. I don't know. I don't know what fate concepts are. Inclinations are basically these, what you see on the screen, that the jobs get, or classes, whatever you want to call them. They're just ones you get to pick, but they're essentially the exact same thing. Like an inclination here is +1 boon to your predator rating. That's just always active. Boon to climbing, gain an extra strike. I guess you can think of them more like feats for D&D. The extra karma fist, yeah. But see, what we're thinking about doing is letting, because every player gets to pick 2 inclinations already. So we're just thinking about the frog letting them pick 1 extra. So for that customization, since Frog Tosser is going to be a wanderer of sorts. Oh yeah. Also, big tangent here. For all you TTRPG designers out there. Trying to get the word out. So I was in this YouTube thing the other day, and they were talking to us, the YouTubers, about how we can do some brand connecting and stuff, like how we can get connected to other brands, you know, for sponsorships and blah 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 blah. Well, I asked them, I was like, how big of a person / business does an individual have to be on the other side? Like for YouTubers, you know, if YouTubers are trying to find a brand, how big does a brand have to be? Like how established? And they made it sound like individual TTRPG creators have access to this. So instead of having to, I mean, you're probably still better off taking the route Peter did and individually reaching out to people and, you know, networking yourself. But apparently, like, you can set up an account with Google Ads or something like that and get yourself set up to where YouTubers can find you, and that allows you to connect. And the big thing is like to share analytics, but I don't know. I'm putting it out there because I did ask on y'all's behalf. I was like, hey, you know, I got a lot of little indie guys out there working, and YouTubers getting the word out for them is kind of how they survive. So can they take advantage of this? They were supposed to give me a link of where y'all could go, and they never really did. Let's see what it was. It was like, was it just Google Ads? I might just be talking nonsense. I don't know. But this is a way for you guys to promote videos. Now, so me and Blaze did this kind of behind the scenes. Like, I made his World Shapers video. That was my normal review, and that was not sponsored. But he said, here's some money to promote your video. So me, the YouTuber, I can take any of my videos, hit the promote button, and say, I'm willing to spend X number of dollars. And then YouTube's like, okay, do you want views? Do you want subs? Or do you want both? No idea how they determine what'll get what. But you pick that option, and then it'll appear in the promoted thing on your side if you don't have ads blocked, like I do. And you should. But it'll be there in the promoted thing. And it'll get you extra views. So if you're doing the brand connect thing, you get connected to the brand, and the brands are like, yeah, we like this video, and then they set it up on their end. They're like, instead of passing money under the table, basically, they're like, no, we'll run this campaign for this long, blah, 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 blah. So, and that's why you can share analytics, because that way the brand that's throwing money at you can see how many views they're getting out of it and everything. So it's kind of neat. I do feel like it's geared more towards bigger brands doing that, but maybe we'll start getting stuff on a smaller scale. want the oh, I already read that. Never mind. I'm dumb. So something to look out for, but like I said, just suggesting it, but it is probably better just to network yourself and say, hey, you know, here's my game, please review. And if you don't want to do, because I don't do paid sponsorships, I feel like that, and y'all give me your 2 cents on this. So I don't do paid sponsorships. I feel like if somebody like Blaze or Twice Dead come up to me and they're like, hey, here's $100, review my game, or make me a video, like, people would rightfully so question the authenticity of that. They'd be like, oh, he was paid to review this, so yeah, if he just says bad things, he's probably not likely to get another paid review. So I would be inclined to say nice things. Now, my channel, I feel like it's pretty clear that I don't review things I don't like, typically. Every now and one squeezes through, but anyway. So I don't know, this is what I want y'all's opinion on. So if, like what me and Blaze did, I made the video originally as normal, and then some weeks down the road, I presented the idea to him. I was like, hey, if you want to like get this thing some more views, there's this promote feature. So he's like, yeah, sure, here's some money. Does that count as a paid sponsorship? Or is it something different? Like, do you say this is promoted by? What's the difference? Well, there's Peter with the frog. We were just talking about you and networking. I have no real idea how to promote my game. I know you can do the DriveThruRPG thing, but otherwise I've just been sharing through Reddit and various YouTuber Discords with minor success. I mean, that's the way to do it. Peter will tell you. That's why we were just talking about him. Networking. And I hate it. I hate it so much. But yeah, just reaching out to people and, you know, here's my game. Please give it a shot. Or, you know, I will say, as somebody who reviews these things, it's super helpful if you're willing to get on camera and run it and all that stuff and, you know, put on a show or whatever. Because it's hard to get people together and then learn a game to run it or just play it. So, to me, review versus promote is still different. Promoting things like indie Kickstarter is cool to me, like a personal ad. Yep. Networking. Blah. Access journalism has been a disaster for the credibility of journalists and review. Yeah. Do actual work and effort to communicate. Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it, Mustache? I hate it. I wish I could just make stuff and it's done. Sharing my game HP system on Peter's Discord and he never replied to it. Dang it, Peter. What's wrong with you? Dude, I got a whole stack of... We talked about this one stream in the Acorn sharing. It's like, I feel so bad because people are putting stuff in there and I'm not responding to it, but it's like, I can't do all of them. That's why I made the squirrel tag. It's like, okay, we can just randomly pull one up on stream. Do the networking for me? That's what I was saying. Excuse me. But it stinks, but that's the way to do it. Okay, that's right, Blaze. We did one sponsorship for fun. But even then, like, what you wanted me to... Yeah, I was gonna say, you did sponsor one video, but see, this is what happened. You were like, hey... Okay, sponsored reviews. A sponsored video is different. But yeah, that is the only one I've done. And the way that was, you just wanted an ad for World Shapers in one video. And I was like, hey, I have a better idea. I have this video about different settings I want to make. So instead of just a 30-second ad segment or whatever, I'll show off some World Shaper characters at the end of every setting segment that I do. And I thought that was super fun, but that is not the norm for YouTubers. My Discord is busy. Stop trusting Bricky because he had nothing but praise for Darktide. Darktide! Dude. Darktide's a mess. I want to like that game, but I would love to have a game like Vermintide or Darktide that was designed for single player, but you get 3 bots to command. It would be so cool. But yeah, like the paid thing, like trust me, I would love. I've had some people reach out. They never gave me a number. They usually ask. They're like, hey, how much would you be willing to take a paid sponsorship for my game or whatever? And I'm like, I usually put them to work. I was like, no, but if you're willing to do X, Y, and Z, I'll make a video or do a stream. I would like the money, but like I said, it would just, people would rightfully question that. And even though I think most of the people at this point who watch me regularly know I would be honest anyway, but people coming in wouldn't, that don't know me. And people who do know me might still scratch their chin a little bit. And like I said, rightfully so. You should. You played Darktide last night? Oh, yeah, well, if that's your first time playing it, it's come a long way. Oh, man. It is fun. Like, I will say, Fat Shark, they're very good at weapon feel and all that. I think I was telling somebody, I was like, Fat Shark has the most talented idiots I've ever seen. Because, like, when they're designing stuff like that, that game feel, 10 out of 10, nobody can come close to competing. Making the game actually work, 0 out of 10. They have no idea what they're doing. It's so bad. Like Vermintide 2, half the perks didn't work for like the first 2 or 3 years. It was insane. Usual Fat Shark coding. Everything is, yep. Yeah, everything's janky but the store. The store caused a lot of drama, and rightfully so. You played it at launch? Okay, I skipped it at launch. My brother, he got on it first thing, and I was like, nope. I remember Vermintide. I was like, you call me in a couple years when they straighten some of it out. Oh. And the skill trees have changed, like, what, 3 or 4 times? They just can't figure out what they're doing. All creatives, no coders? I guess. But I mean, like, that can't be the case because the game feel, that's some programming, like, you know, the way the weapons feel when you're doing it, when you're swinging them and whatnot, so that took some programming. Vermintide 2 was, I think I got like 700 hours in that one. I wore that game out, and then Winds of Magic came out. I know they backtracked a lot since then, but yeah, run that game. I really wish Vermintide 2 had Darktide's level randomization. I'd still be playing it if they had that, but and I know they tried to do that kind of with Winds of Magic with the Fate Weave or the Weave, whatever it was called. It just, I don't like it. I don't like it. Running down a Slayer bar, yeah. Do that leap right off the edge. That was always a classic. I think Barden was my worst. No, Sienna was my worst character. I could not play her. I never even got her to level 30. I did not enjoy playing her. I was a filthy Watelgi main. I played the elf. Got all those green circles, man, at the end. Including most damage taken. Oh, man. So, anyway. I love Barden so much, though. So as I'm saying, like, that's the craziest thing about Vermintide 2 to me, is it's a very simple game. You know, it's a horde game. That's fine. That's fine. It does what It does what it does very well. But like, that game had the best dialogue I have ever heard. The voice actors knocked it out of the park, and just, what's the word I'm looking for? The back and forth they do randomly is just, it's so good. Those characters are so alive. Oh man. They banned you from picking Barton. Ah. Not that. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this guy. I think we'll just do that. An extra inclination's fun. And then you can just, well, I like the idea of choosing between having the frog on you or not. But... And if you say you only get the inclination when the frog's on you, that would be too hard to keep up with. It'd be too weird. Let's make a note. Oops. Whoop. I cut like 6 onions. I love roasted onions. My eyes hate me. Oh man, yeah, that's rough, especially if they're big onions. The writing of Vermintide is so good it doesn't... Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a simple game, but yeah, those characters. And I think, I will say, the writing, whoever wrote their dialogue did very, very, very good. But I think it only would have gotten halfway there if it wasn't for those voice actors they picked, because they nailed it. And I wonder if they were actually together and riffing off of each other, or if it was totally, because if it was totally separate, then yeah, that writer knocked it out of the park. But freaking Salt Spire is so good. Time to comment to those sorts of games, or commit to those sorts of games today. Same as Space Marine, PvE, very cool. Just yeah. I mean, technically, Dark Tide and Vermintide don't take long. It's like 20-minute runs. But I will say the thing I really hate most about those types of games, Deep Rock, Vermintide, Dark Tide, is when they have the different classes or characters, and you have to level up each of them. I get making you level up once and work your way through the difficulties, but like, don't make me do that 5, 6, 7 times. Not an necromancer. That did age a little poorly, didn't it? Let's see. That became that. Where did I put it? Yeah, this guy needs something. The Swarm Master. You get a boon as long as you're scrapping, and then you can potentially do extra damage, but you can also potentially take extra damage. What are some other things that your swarm could do, even if it's narratively? Like, what could they get into? And we don't want it to step on the frog's toes, like as far as debuffs and stuff go. Kruger offering to beat the Every Queen because he was worried about Krillin. Yeah, I got Kruger. The great mustache with like Kruger. They both have very similar mustaches. Man, you know, so I could do some pretty cool things with the Handmaiden as far as staying alive, but I could still do better with base Carillion, the whatever her first class is called. Like I could tank way more, do more, you know, obviously do more damage, but now that spear on Handmaiden was pretty nice. And all the dodges. You're a Sienna diehard? I could not stand her, man. Playing as her. Her character was great. Especially her and Saltspire when they get to bickering. It's so good. But like, I did not enjoy playing her. All of her attacks felt so weak, and I hated having one on my team. Because they're always shooting you in the back. And you had the friendly fire. Especially on the higher difficulties, like that did a lot of damage. You play mages a lot? Yeah. I couldn't do it. Which is funny, because Darktide, I really like the Psyker. Like, that's my main, but I get to lean more into the melee side of it. Like, I have a Berserker Psyker, pretty much. So I haven't played twice the new classes. I came back briefly and tried out Carillion's Thorn Queen or whatever it is. And I was like, you know, it feels like I paid for it. But I haven't tried any of the other ones. Yeah, I was gonna say, Peter, I like the Psyker. That bubble, I call it the Thunderdome build. I just drop the bubble down and everything in it dies, just because I'll have the two-handed sword. You know, you just get to whopping people and you charge it up and yes, Darktide does have some good music. It's very good. I feel like I used one track for a one-shot we did a while back. Man, you're making me want to play Darktide. I just keep getting... The thing about Darktide, it gets me frustrated. Or any of these games, really. It's like, okay, I want to play it, but I have to find 3 other people. And then when you join randos, it's like, there's nothing like playing Darktide. Walking into a room, and the whole party goes 3 different directions. It's like, okay, guys, we're gonna die. And sure enough, you know, they all get picked off. This ain't that hard, gentlemen. It fits 40k, but it doesn't feel like 40k music in other games. Thunderhammer on the Zealot. I couldn't get into that. One tap deletes and take out. Like, yeah, like it's nice, but the wind up I find frustrating. There's a few mechanics like that in Darktide, because like it's a very fast-paced game, so when anything's slow, you super feel it. So like you have to, what is it? Activate the hammer and then do a big old wind up, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's turn on the hammer, activate your special, the charge, and then yeah, like it's like, man, that's too long. And that's what's weird to me. The Psyker feels like a better Zealot than Zealot, because you can just get to wailing with that sword, and the more you hit, you charge it up and you just unleash it. You got Vermintide too? It's pretty good. Play with me and Intimidator? I might have to. What difficulty y'all running these days? I don't feel like I'm in an Orthodox church or the brass section of a military band when hearing Darktide. Techno. We definitely don't have techno at the moment. Many of you tried out the new game, Last Flag. I don't know that one. What is that one? killer Bowser theme. What is this Fortnite looking game? Halo, I would always say find your slayer buddy. As long as you're not off on your own, there's a good chance that you'll be avenged. Playing on easy mode. We were playing on Heretic. Second from the top when you're playing a lot. Yeah, I forget where I'm at. I think I usually play on the 3rd difficulty. I can do 4, but it's got to have the right people is the thing. That one doesn't work with randos. Imagine Dragons game. Class-based shooter. Huh. I did not know they made a game. I hate that band. Don't tell Glee. She'll be mad at me. We were just talking about Fortnite last night. In the little Wednesday night game group, because we were super looking forward to that game before it became what it is now. It was supposed to be like this tower defense zombie survival thing, which is why you had the building mechanics. Like, that's where that came from. You were supposed to build up a fort and defend yourself from waves of zombies, but it never made it. Oh, Glee heard me. Oh no, she's sad. Only played their games. Team Fortress 2 YouTubers have been getting sponsored. Ain't touching out of spite. Good call. Yeah, Glee is sad now. She's very sad, very sad. I am going to look at the base classes here. I think I kind of took everything I can, though. Yeah, I didn't realize this. The Delver in Core Easy D6 gets an extra inclination. Yeah, they're kind of like the... They get a bunch of extra items and an extra inclination. Yeah, they're kind of that jack of all trades too. Yeah, that. I missed out on Team Fortress 2. It just went right past me. Like, didn't even really know what it was till Overwatch came out. Fortnite to first-person shooters is as much skin as to tabletop games. Ooh, you think this would be too strong? So the Conjurer in Core Easy D6 has Mystic Barrier. As an action, you can shield yourself with magic until it absorbs a hit or you fall unconscious. You do that with your Swarm? I feel like that would be too strong. Epileptic Eagle. I wish I had played Team Fortress 2. I'd been exposed to it. But... Ooh, what if we did... So the Conjurer has Wander Staff. You can shoot magic bolts from a Wander Staff. This is a ranged attack hitting one target and rolling 1d6, cannot crit, and only does one strike. What if that could be a fun little ability for the Swarmer. You just, if somebody's out of range, because you're a brawler, it's like there's a little ranged option. You can just yeet, send out your bugs to do a little pew, but it can't crit, so it's like very limited damage. Kind of like it. So yeah, like if you're, maybe that's what you do, since you have the potential to take extra damage on cleave attacks and stuff because of your swarm. Maybe that can give you the option to back off. You wouldn't be doing as much damage, but you'd stay alive. You just bug punch. You can't rocket jump and last flag. 0 out of 10. Never was good with rocket jumping. I could only do basic stuff. But I guess that is what happens when you are a heavy main. Slow and steady. That's right. Oh, well, okay. Here's another one that leans into the Frog Tosser being a wanderer. The Scald from Corey's ED6 has one that's called Traveler. On your travels, you have had ample opportunity to hone a skill. Pick a skill, melee, acrobatics, street smart, observations, and gain a boon in that ability. So that's kind of like an extra inclination, but that one lets you, I don't know, that's kind of nice. Because that lets you make up something specifically to you. So if you're like, I'm really good at finding traps, or picking locks or something. Or like, I'm really good at forgery, something very specific. That's interesting. Let me snag that one real quick. Where's the Toad Tosser? Alright. Beast Speech. You can convince beasts to aid you. Ooh. Do we have a... How are you able to communicate with your swarm is up to you. Maybe we give the swarmer bug speak, and then they can speak to bugs. That could be pretty roleplay intensive. We get a lot of perks there. Have them pick the extra inclination at the start of each session. Ooh, this reminds me of the time I peeled potatoes for a few weeks as a campfire. That's a good idea. Each session pick an inclination or the boon from Traveler that was... Because see, inclinations are written down in the manual. You'd have to pick one of those. Whereas this one's like, just make something up. Yeah, session. I think that's what I ended up actually reading instead of season. You're so bad at TF2 after I finish a game I hit. Is it that bad, Duck? Well, I like that idea, Kazdoc. At the beginning of each session. Could be interesting. I mean, for one shots, it wouldn't make too much of a big deal because it'd be the same as picking a permanent one. But for long-term play, maybe just a boon then. I wish I could say that was my original bet. There's a couple things that do that did. I mean, that's fine. They should have never balanced a casual game like TF2 ran. Did they really? Is that what they did? So that's what I don't get. All those games. I wish they'd split casual and competitive. Like if you wanted to do competitive play where your goal is to get better and get good at the game and rise through the ranks, I wish competitive would have its own rule set and balanced around. Because competitive players they play much differently, which changes the entire game and the way it's played. There are dang wizards in that game. People that are just damn good to win by themselves. 5,000 hour NDC. Yeah. I'll believe it. I believe it. That's why I don't want to even try TF2, because like it's been out for so long. It's like I'd be so out of place. Like when Marvel Rivals came out, I tried it for the first month or two, and then it started getting sweaty, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out. Still plenty of noobs playing? Maybe. But do I need to get into it, Blaze? That would be pretty interesting. And like you couldn't pick the same boon twice. You had to be something different each time. So it couldn't just be like, yeah man, this reminds me of the sword fight, so melee boon. It's a piece of gaming history. It is that I missed somehow. Also, I wanted to check something real quick, because I reached out to somebody today, and this might involve y'all. Well, darn it, I was hoping I could see it in the preview. Let me open it all the way up. Here's potentially something pretty interesting. Definitely be intrigued. If there's a need for it, always trying to figure out. Okay. Alright, so. I was talking with somebody. Networking. Oh my gosh. They're looking to get into editing ttrpg manuals. They're already an editor, so it's not like somebody's super fresh and green. So we talked about it. I was like, well, I have access to a lot of people that are making their TTRPGs, and some of the manuals I have seen do need editing. But it is a whole different beast. It's not just copy editing, like, oh, you missed your comma here, this needs capitalized. It's like proper flow of information too. It's something we'd be getting into. But I asked them because they're in cahoots with a cover designer. So I was like, well, hey, you got kind of a team here. What if some of these interiors need some design work too? Is that something your exterior designer can do? So might get some editing help for y'alls. Of course, you got to pay them. That's the thing. A lot of us don't have any money, right? We're just making this because we enjoy it. But could be interesting. Could be fun. Because I was going to say, y'all remember Cosmosaurs? I don't know if y'all watched that video or not. Shame on you if you didn't, but I'll pull it up anyway. Not the video, but the book. So it's like the very first page. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna tangent hard today. Wouldn't be a stream if we didn't. Right. So here's Cosmosaurus. Like, super fun game. It works. The manual just needed... I don't know, maybe it got lost in translation, because I think the people that made this were... English was their second language. But like... What was it? If I roll... So normally this... You would think this is 2 columns, right? So it reads down this way, and then down this way. Alright? But... this part, if you roll multiple D's or roll multiple 6s, each one as a first grants you boon. Yeah, you can use for the following purposes. And it goes to this table here. And then this piece of information goes to this table over here. And then this optional rule of difficulty, it's on the next page. Oh, you guys can't even see that arrow I drew on the bottom. Bit of a mess, but like all the information is there. So, you know, an editor to do that and a layout designer. So it's like, yeah, man, this flow of information is like, no. That's no good. So... But as I was saying, a lot of people are trying to do this themselves, and sometimes they knock it out of the park, and sometimes, like, nah, you really needed another set of eyes on that. On top of regular typos. Had to make a call, what'd you miss? Someday my game will have art and a nice layout. One day. A gaming network. Yeah, Peter, so I was saying, lady been doing some work with. I asked her if she wanted to, like, start helping people edit TTRPG manuals, you know, beyond copy edits, you know, making sure your commas and punctuations are right, but you know, getting the flow of information in a way that makes sense, not like what poor Cosmosaurus did here. But she also has a cover designer she's been working with for years, so I was like, can she do interior design work too for TTRPG? So she just answered. I was like, she believes it's something she's interested in. So, and I was telling this lady, I was like, since my channel is like working with a lot of indie TTRPG lads making their manuals, you know, usually their skill set is in designing the game, not writing the game or layout design and all that, which is fine. So, so I might have somebody to recommend. We'll see. We're gonna have some sit downs and chats and see what they can do. And who knows? Maybe I'll get involved with it. Not like I have time for that. World Shapers doesn't have a layout, Blaze. It's a wiki page. The best projects are the ones where you get to bring it collaborators, in my opinion. Bring it to collaborators? I mean, that is pretty fun. Yeah, fun. It could be. It could be super neat. I was gonna say something. I don't know. I threw it because we're doing some work together, and you had mentioned TTRPG stuff, and I was like, well, here's food for thought. Whee! Let me throw it at you. May approaches. What happens? Oh yeah. I actually found out I have an extra week. Don't tell nobody though. I got to subcontract with a friend on a commission a little while ago. It was good times. Yeah, man. Where you get to bring in collaborators. Yeah. Instead of doing it all yourself. I mean, there's something to be said about doing everything yourself. Like, the vision gets maintained, but if you don't want to see me doing layout, it's bad. And I will readily tell you, it is very bad. So... I definitely need the help there. And I can draw stick figures, which apparently people like and are sad that Nuts is going to be losing the stick figures, but is what it is. So, because I think the art that I found for Nuts is way better. I brought him in for character sheet design. Oh man, I cannot do character sheet design. But I feel like that's just because I'm no good at layout either. So, character sheet design is hard. It is hard getting all that information in a nice visually appealing way. I think Cosmosaurus did all right, but it also has next to nothing for stats. Let's see, where's the character sheet? There it is. Yeah, that's actually the character, not the ship. And it's pretty cool. But like I said, there's not a whole lot going on there, so a little wild looking, but it fits the theme and the vibe. Been bending over backwards with my custom stuff on home brewery. It's definitely better left to the experts. Yup. Character sheet design is brutal, 100%. Or layout, that is. Good news, if people offer a game, they'll design. Your autocorrect got you again. If people offer a game, they'll design a bunch of fun character sheets for it. I think I got close enough. Pendragon, but good god long text pieces make it feel so. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So, some people like big old chunks of world building in their game. They're like, no, I want all the details, like eat it up, you know, and that's fine. Because some people really like writing it too. I am a fan of small bits where I have room to make stuff up, and you know, nobody gets mad because you are required to make stuff up. And that was one thing I really liked about Dave's game, Ironbound, because Ironbound takes place in a huge city, so instead of islands and kingdoms, you just had all these districts of the city, and there's just like 1 to 3 paragraphs, very small paragraphs each, just boop, 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 just a little bit of, hey, here's what's going on in this area. Same way for the factions too. It's like, here's a little bit about them, fill in the blanks, you know, for whatever you want. I like that, but that also makes it very easy to just kind of read through. You're just like, okay, that's these people, blah 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 blah. Enjoy. If people enjoy a game, they'll design a bunch of fun character or fan character sheets for it. Yeah. We got there. And that's what I was saying earlier about find your audience. Make what you want, and then just try and find your audience instead of trying to make a specific audience happy. It's like, no, find the people. I mean, that's not to say you don't need to try and get better and all that. You still do all that, but get better at the thing you want to do. And find your audience that appreciates and likes what you're making. Character sheet is basically a text file with underscores. I mean, hey, that works. That works. Fruitful Boys, those are called by the more letter inclined. Fruitful Boys. Those are called. I got it. Also Among Us. Dun dun. Let's see. Man, what was I gonna look up? Oh, it was gonna be, yeah. You talked about your text. Do I have... You know I made mine in PowerPoint, so... This is just me piddling. So here's one for Nuts. I mean, I guess it works. I wouldn't want to publish it, but you know, some people like to have a sheet they can fill in. So there's Nuts. But what I was looking for was the Moss and Stone one. Yeah. I don't even know if it's up to date anymore. I guess we can look and see. That's all this is. Let's see, name, species, job, aspirations, flaw, HP, armor, karma, hero die, miraculous save, predator roll, whisper stones, species, perks, predator ability. I think everything's there. This is wrong because we got rid of jobs. It's just hero paths and inclinations. I mean, same thing, same information, just wording. Yeah, no more job. It would be your path, your adventurer path, which is, I think, what I'm going to call them. Everything else, same though. That still works. But you can see, very simple, just boxes. Let's see. I have a Grand Columbia setting for Peter's game in the work. Ooh, slowly. Slowly. Broad strokes with a few examples are my goal too. The walking city is not everyone's bastion. That's right. That's right. I made my alpha character sheet in NanoCADs. Use what you know. I mean, yeah. I should go make a character sheet in SolidWorks. Make a 3D character sheet. Scrat, in your opinion, how much of book writing and editing translates to rule book design and editing? So, that's actually a fun question. Let's see. How much of book writing and editing translates? So, I have talked before about rule writing and GMing, how there is, between writing and that and the TTRPG side, there's a ton of overlap. Almost to the point, it's like the same thing, and then at the same time, there's a lot of things you don't want to overlap. It's kind of weird. So, can't really give you a percentage, but there's writing. It's a skill, right? It is a skill like anything else. So, I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. So, like, you can be really good at writing fantasy. And if you're good at writing fantasy, you can get good at writing science fiction, right? Because it's still writing. There's just different things you have to learn. Versus writing a biography. Like, there's different tones you do, different ways you present information. So when you get into a TTRPG manual, there is a different way to present information. Now, your writing tone, if you're used to writing fiction, you could probably present it in more of a storytelling way instead of a dry, here's the rules of the game. But that's where you would have your writing skill, but manual writing, like instruction manual writing skill, would be another skill you have to sharpen because, okay, you don't want to be too wordy like a novel, and you want to get to the point quicker, so people don't have to skim so much to find the key points of information. So I would say a lot of it translates, but there's still new things you have to learn because it is a different book you're trying to write. I don't know if that actually answers the question or not. There's a lot of the same steps, like you write it and you can still send it out to proofreaders and be like, hey, how much sense does this make? And then that's when it helps to have proofreaders that are also TTRPG players. Like, okay, after one read through, did you feel like you could play this? Or did you have to... And this is something I talk about in Outgunned, the review I'm working on now. There's some wording in that is technically clear, but when you combine it with the rest of the wording, it's like very not clear. And I was having to flip back and forth between these few rules. Like, wait a minute, you say this here, and then you say this thing here, but you worded it differently. It's like it's very, while very simple mechanics, it got very confusing because of the way it was worded and presented. More so presented because there was these big gaps between those key points of information that could have been strung together. So that is, like I said, a well-edited book, but there was a skill that got lost in there, I feel like, as far as presentation of rules in a certain order that makes sense. Yeah, sure. I think you're just being nice, Duck. I can show your... Oh, yeah. That's right. You got a Google Doc. It's Squirrel safe. Matter of fact, I think we did pull it up one stream. Can't imagine many people would be able to access it outside of Tony Stark. Oh, I don't know what that... Oh, it's Cowboy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm catching up on chat. Ah! Excel is a sleeper for potential. People have made functional games with... Hey, I'm one of them. I know we make the joke about me being a PowerPoint nut, but Excel is, no pun intended, where I excel. That I know. I love Excel. I know that one front and back. I have a whole solo system made for nuts in Excel. Cue the Z Bashu, every crunchy cyberpunk RPG video game on right. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. You imagine TTRPG manuals are somewhere between a fiction book and a technical manual and writing. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because you have lore dumps and some TTRPGs, right? Some that have their own setting, like there's that, and you want to make that interesting, and that's kind of where you know your book writing skill comes in. But then there's that other side, like how much do you want to define stuff? So, you know, in a book, you try to make things make sense and be consistent and believable, despite it being dragons and magic and everything else. But you establish these rules and make them consistent and give enough information to make that happen. Versus a TTRPG, it's like, how much do I want to leave out and let the players invent and make up? So that's what I'm saying. There's that crossover, and it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but not. Hey, there's the dinosaur man. How's everyone doing? We're doing all right. We're tangenting all over the place today, but that's fine. That's what streams are for. The United States, Colombia. Oh, you're talking about that. And then downhill from there. You intended that pun, don't I? I fully did. I don't. I did. When they start coming out of my mouth, I don't. But then I'm like, yeah, I'm going with it, so. It's a happy little accident. Depends on what stage of the development process you're in my opinion. I'd say the design pass on a custom system is one of its technical. Yeah. That's true. But I was like, because like you have your editing passes, right? And a normal book, like a novel storybook, you know, you have your dev or structure edit, which is big picture stuff. Taking out scenes, adding new characters, taking out characters, finding out what does and doesn't work, plot holes, that kind of thing. Just big things. You're not worried at all about how it sounds. And then you polish it all up, fix all that. Then you have a line edit, which is making things sound consistent. Like characters act consistent, locations are consistent, your tone of voice is consistent, right? And then copy edit is your copy edit. Commas, punctuation, format, blah, 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 blah. So on a TTRPG manual, like ideally you would have your system figured out before you were trying to make your book, right? You know the rules work for the most part. You might be testing a few things here and there. But if you were in the editing process, I feel like most of that would be figured out, right? So a dev edit would probably just be getting your chunks of information in the right place. Like, no, you need to talk about dice mechanics here and character customization over here, or no, you need to have your lore over here. And then your line edit would make sure, it's like, okay, now that you have your pieces in the right places, let's make sure it reads nicely, would be your line edit. My guess, I don't know. Because like it is a different type of book, so it might have different steps. It might have less or more. Probably more, like, because there's steps in making sure the rules work and the mechanics. Tantalizing tangents. Is that what we should call the streams? Instead of the hangout stream, it's tantalizing tangent. But But after the ruination, the dream of Simon Bolivar. I had no idea you were making something for Peter's World. That's pretty cool. Got any ideas for a Moss and Stone character sheet? Well, I mean, that's... this little thing right here. I have no idea what it's going to look like. But that's the information you need. Because, yeah, these are the things you will have. But, like... all my Easy D6 and Moss and Stone character sheets have just been a notepad file. It's just like, yeah, I got this many strikes and here's my abilities. Like, it's not that complicated. So I don't know, because here's... let's go get an Easy D6 character. I have never used an Easy D6 character sheet. But technically there is one in the back of the book. Y'all can see that, right? Yeah. Your name, your hero path, which that's right here. Species, which is right here, so we have that. Hero path boons, that's right here. Hero path features, which is also right here. Inclinations, also, it's just all right here. That's why it gets a big box. Aspects. That's right. This is supposed to be aspects, not aspirations. I still haven't fixed that. Circles of Sorcery is not a thing in Moss and Stone, so that goes away. Equipment. That's all right here. Karma and Hero Die is right here. Your armor is right here. Health, which is right here. Potions. We don't have potions. We have sandwiches, but that's considered an item, so it goes right here. So your equipment, potions, and I guess weapons too, if you want to put that. That all goes right here. And scrolls or whisper stones. So, but I have never used this sheet before. He had a different... I don't have Dreadful Doomscapes. I just have, like, the beta versions he shared with me that were still, like, mostly text files. Those ones had a very different character sheet. They were a bit more... better laid out than this one, I would say. Also, Glee, was that the cat that was just screaming? Like, roots would make for a good visual? Yeah. Roots and some rocks here and there and a little moss creeping over, you know, like moss growing on the edges of boxes or something. But see, that's the thing. And I think it's... y'all may not know this. I am the type that overwhelms super easy. And it's so stupid. But not overwhelm in the sense like I just panic attack. It's overwhelm in the sense of, okay, you put the blank page in front of me. I'm thinking of a million different things, you know, what I could do on this sheet. And because I'm thinking of a million different things, I can't think on one thing and actually move forward with anything. So I just stare at the blank page for, you know, 2 days. And then come up with nothing. And then I'll be like, you know, after 3 days of staring, it's like, yes, I made a square. And of course I get discouraged. It's like, wow, I sat here for all this time and all I did was make a square. So the overwhelm is real. So I think that's why I'm so bad at layout, because you start with nothing and I'm just like, ah. And that's why it's a lot easier to... And this is what that Critic Trap video was about. This is why it's so much easier. I just straight up wrote on that. It's so much easier to look at something that's already done and be like, okay, yeah, I don't like this. This is fine. Let's take this. Let's move it down here. Like, you already have something. You're just moving stuff around. So even if you end up with something completely different, you still have something to start with. Let's see. I got a super catch up on chat. Most amazing character sheet ever, even with incorrect names of errors. Yeah! For visual flares. Yep. Okay. You're on a okay. Well, I thought maybe you didn't see it. I don't know. Thought maybe you're on a tiny little mobile device and couldn't tell what it was. But yeah, no ideas. It's better to have both moss and stone in the margins. Yeah. Pretty close to lines on. Yeah, I mean, it's very simple. Just not a lot going on, and I think that was the idea. Easy D6 doesn't use derived values or significant stat tracking, making it pretty easy. Just yeah, that's the kind of thing I like. I'm with Duck. Much prefer a game where I can easily use a blank sheet of paper. But yeah, I don't like that. Okay, +2 from over here, plus this from. I like that in video games. Love it. But at the table, it's like, I don't want to do all that. So, do Whisper Stones have a distinct look? You could incorporate one into the character. So I will say, for accessibility purposes too, much prefer. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. That does help. Decision paralysis, 100%. My head fills with fog is the way I describe overwhelm. Yep. Because it's like, I'm thinking of a lot of cool things, I just don't act on any of them, so therefore nothing happens. But going back to Cosdope, the Whisper Stones have a distinct look. So, this is not official Moss and Stone art, but that's in the works. Sean Bova is making stuff. Right, one tangent at a time here. This was something Blaze's artist did. If I can find it. He might find it before I do. Blaze added a new archetype to his game. I think it was archetype, right? That's right. I got it, Blaze. I found it. But he wanted to do a little squirrely moss and stone Easter egg kind of thing. What'd you say this was? Like, not caster. What'd you call this archetype? Anyway, he can give you the rundown in the chat. But he wanted to do a little squirrely moss and stone reference for it. So this is a big Whisper Stone. But this is emitter. That's what it was. But this is the idea. It's just a rock. I started with the runes because his artist, Moonlight, she did that, I think, on her own. And I was like, that's super cool. And it's kind of what I had in mind anyway. But the more I thought about that, I was like, runes don't make sense because that suggests, kind of, in my opinion, somebody put them there. Or, you know, it's a legible... What's the word I'm looking for? It's a language. Whereas Whisper Stones are just this strange, mysterious power of the universe that nobody understands fully. So I will not have runes on the official Moss and Stone Whisper Stone look, but it's just going to be lines like this over various rocks and the stones come in different sizes and stuff. Like some might be a perfectly square slab, some are just going to be like little rocks you keep in your pocket, but it's almost like the cracks in the stone are glowing. And there's just blue power swirling in there. So, but that's the idea, something like that. Probably maybe more lines or more jagged. We'll see what Sean Bova comes up with, because I gave him the breakdown, and it's like, hey, you got some creative freedom. I'm still trying to figure this out. But I think no, we don't have it on here. Okay, so here is this is not Moss and Stone, but this is what Sean Bova makes. This is original Easy D6 art. So here's some progress pics of a mouse, and I do have an update. Let me go find. He started working on some shading. Look at there. And I didn't realize this until today. I didn't realize the animal scratch there in his armor. It's like, that's super cool. But that's where we're going. This is an older mouse warrior. I forgot how many tangents I was on, but we're here now. Index card RPG doesn't ask for index cards and required materials. Yeah, it sure doesn't. Somebody uses an AoE weapon that hits everything around it. Okay, so that's what they mirrored. So that's why it had all the stuff coming off of it. Like a radiant symbol. So yeah, that worked for that. Maybe fractals instead of runes, given that fractals are everywhere. It's a good idea. We'll just... Could be that it appears as runes, but different for each animal. Ooh, as their mind tries to parse. I like that. Like you see different things depending on what you are. Choose a Gallifreyan, I don't know how to say that, translator and replace some of the circles with other geometric shapes. Possible, possible. Stones with weird patterns are usually just fossils, spirals. You don't know this, Scrap, but that was a Doctor Who reference. Ah, no! Did Glee catch it? She's a big Doctor Who fan. Getting new art is always cool. It sure is. The first time it's scary, though. Because you're like, oh man, is the artist just going to completely miss? Or is it going to be awesome? And then when you work more with it, you're like, yeah. Oh! She does have a Doctor Who-ish tattoo. I only tangentially know about Doctor Who. Just found out with Translator Onyx. Kazduck's idea of fractals could be that the stone just uses natural patterns. Spirals, splitting lines, wave-like patterns. Yeah. Like I said, and it could just be the cracks, too. And you're getting a peek at what's inside the stone, maybe. I don't know. But we'll see what he does. Because basically he's going to make something like this. I said, hey, I just want... You can pick which species. Here's the list that the players can play as. Pick one, whichever one you want to do. He'll probably be in priest-like garments, you know, with the robe and stuff. And using the Whisper Stone in some capacity. So he's got a lot of wiggle room on that one. This one, I was like, okay, this is a specific character, and this is what I'm looking for. So he had a lot more direction on this one. Then the third picture was kind of the halfway point. It's going to be a hollow tongue. And I can't remember if I told him I'd like a snake. I might have said you can pick what the creature is, but here's how I envision hollow tongues. And we both agreed, you know, once we get the look, the style hammered down, like even when he finishes this picture, it's not a final of what Moss and Stone style is going to be. I mean, it might, but that's not the goal. We're just trying stuff out. But once we finalize the style and look we want, I am going to get a bigger picture of like a whole party fighting a hollow tongue snake, because I think that would be super cool. If naturalized shapes or where magic leaks into the world, other materials are planned. Ooh. Not for Moss and Stone, but I like that. Oh, damn. That's something I wanted to talk about today, too, and we're 2 hours into this. Scrat is really flexible. I got those initial mental pictures, and I got to hammer whatever comes next to fit. I try to be flexible. I've been socializing the entire day, so I think I'll be heading out for some quiet time. See ya, Blaze. Okay. Well, now that I remembered something that was a really cool idea I had, so let's hard shift the gears here. Just like add a fifth gear into reverse. That's good for the transmission. Or the gearbox, whatever. So the corrupted whisper stones. Make sure there's venom on a character with the snake picture, and then also make sure that none of Glee's characters are in the picture. Here's what we'll have: the snake and like the whole party fighting the snake, and Bandage the stoat is facing the wrong way. Just confused or distracted by something. Okay, so corrupted whisper stones. I had this idea. Bum, 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 bum. So I love Bandage though. That's such a cool character. So much fun. But anyway, so I wanted names for the Whisper Stones, the corrupted Whisper Stones. So recap, corrupted Whisper Stones are the heart of a fully developed Hollow Tongue. This is a very dangerous creature, and they can use these abilities, the Hollow Tongues, which makes them even more dangerous if they get evolved this far. But if you kill them, you can take their heart, which is a red, Whisper Stone with red glowy bits instead. And I wanted to give them those classes of magic you get to use when you have that Whisper Stone. Is this still Mario? I wanted to give them a name that was like the something. Like the corrupted Whisper Stone, or corrupted Whisper Stone of the Prismatic, which is the one that controls all the light and stuff. So I like the Prismatic. I like that one. I think that was a Glee suggestion. Because you can explain the MILF Toad picture. Yeah, man. There's a guy making a frog game where he plays frogs. So I found that picture and had to put that on there for him. It's a muscular, indestructible life form. And I think his game is... Yeah, here it is. Wardens of the Wetlands. It's actually really fun. But getting back to it. We'll put it over here where you can see it. Yeah, Prismatic was your idea? Okay, so I like that one. I let you do all this light bending stuff. Create things that aren't there. Blah, 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 blah. I think the Atomancer was also hers, and I think that's what I'm going to go to, not the Weather Whisperer. That lets you control weather, atmosphere. The Atmomancer, so Corrupted Whisper Stone of the Atmomancer. This one, I still got nothing. We got a list of suggestions over there, but I haven't done it yet. The Loam Shaper, Corrupted Whisper Stone of the Loam Shaper. The Unmaker is probably my favorite. But then one of the suggestions was the Green Warden, and I was like, man, that's awfully close to the Green Voice. And then I was like, wait, Corrupted Whisper Stone of the Green Voice, because the Green Voice is an important thing in this world. That's what's, the moss. So I got to thinking, and I was like, wait, we have 6 Whisper Stones, or 6 schools of magic for these Corrupted Whisper Stones. We have light, we have stone, we have dirt, nature. I was like, are we just doing creation here? It's like, could there be other deities in this world? And this Hollow Tongue corruption runs so deep that you're tapping into those powers of those ancient deities, whereas the Unmaker would be the big one, obviously. So that's basically your life and death thing there. Is that what's in the Whisper Stones? Or are the Whisper Stones like the ultimate power? That are above all these, so they get to be the Unmakers? I don't know. Because I feel like if I call it the Corrupted Whisper Stone of the Green Warden, that'd be awfully confusing. Like, what about the Green Voice? But to have Corrupted Whisper Stone of the Green Voice, it's like, I don't know. I feel like the lore could go super deep. It doesn't need to. But I could figure it all out behind the scenes, and then just have the wording that suggests it's like, what? Corrupted Whisper Stone of the Green Voice. Wait a minute. People be like, wait a minute. I thought the Green Voice was a good thing. It's like, it is, but you have this Corrupted Whisper Stone. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this conversation, but this is what something I thought was cool. But then you have to start thinking about other Like, do other factions worship the Loam Shaper? And I think... Did I have... That was a different comment. There's 6 stones, 6 days of creation, blah, 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 blah. Is the green voice but one of 6 things that made the world? That was a line of thought. Or 5, with the Whisper Stones being the ultimate 6th. Yeah, so there was also, and this is where I was getting too far off into the weeds. I was like, wait a minute, we broke up the animal kingdom. Fish, bugs, lizards, bugs. Or, I'm sorry, fish, bugs, lizards, big creatures, like cows, horses, bears, and birds. It's like, well, wait a minute, everybody could get their own deity thing that these powers were responsible for. Like, maybe the bugs are under the Loam Shaper's care. It was just a thought. I don't think it'll all line up as neatly as I want. Plus, I think that's too much lore for Moss and Stone. It's not that deep. I did like having just the green voice as this thing that takes care of the world. But, food for thought. Geomancy doesn't work? No. That makes sense. But, like, it doesn't fit the, naming convention I want. Like, I guess maybe the Geomancer. Corrupted Whisperstone of the Geomancer. But we already have Atmomancer. Which is close to Loam Shaper. But I don't know. I feel like if 3 of them lean on the Mancer and Shaper thing, we would... Now, see, the green voice and the prismatic, I feel like, are very good. Standing on their own kind of thing. And the Unmaker. The green voice for plants, the gray whisperer for stone. Ooh. The blue scream for storms and atmosphere. Things like that. Yeah, I mean, they don't want it to be... Oh, yeah, you're going for color. Okay. The gray whisperer. Well, we already have whisper stones. But I see what you're... Yeah, the blue scream. Oh, so it's a color and a vocal. Ooh. That would be cool if you could get them all like that. That's interesting. Maybe there's a green warden that acts on behalf of our defense of the green voice? In defense of the green voice? Maybe. Ruler of stone. Corrupted whisper stone of the blue scream. That would be cool. Gray grumbler, I like that. A hollow whisper. So yeah, it was a while back. I think Twice Dead had the idea of hollow whisper stones when we were working on the corrupted whisper stones. We thought they could be hollow, because hollow tongue, hollow whisper stone. I remember liking the idea, but it didn't quite feel like it fit right. But hollow whispers are basically how hollow tongues got their name, because they do the whisper thing in your head. But they're very hollow creatures. They have lost themselves. They're kind of a husk of what they once were. Bye, Orc Man. I probably shouldn't stay too much longer myself, because I do have a video I need to desperately get done before heading out to EcclesiaCon next week. So. Excuse me. But that was the idea that I thought was, you know, not to brag, I thought it was pretty cool, though. I kind of liked where the logic was going, but I'm not, like I said, it might be too much for Moss and Stone. Too much deep lore. Oh man, best viewers. Get out of here. Ban evasion. I like how they're all consistently marked as ban evaders, but they still get through. I got a question. So if I do... No. Clear the featured message. There's a way. Oh wait, can I just... There we go. Boop. Oh, I think it was already scrolled past anyway. So wait a minute. If I do... I might have just learned how to do something. Maybe. Clear the featured message. Well, where's the feature button? Filter. Well, I thought I figured. Featured. Auto feature messages as they come in. I thought I learned a fun chat thing, but I didn't. Well, anyway, the voice made all, but to vocalize with oneself is impossible. A green voice for the peaceful critters in search of safety, the gray grumbler for the bugs beneath the ground, the blue scream for the birds. Damn. Twice dead's on a roll. Imagine a true hollow whisper stone with a magical inside and out. When you activate the one on the outside, there would be a bad one on the inside. Hollow whisper stone would have magic inside and out. When you activate the one on the outside, bad on the inside. Could. You could. Well, darn, I really got excited because I thought I learned how to feature messages. The bright song for the light. Song for the light and all where it touches. Brown for the lizards among the dust. Sounds like a geode. Yeah. I'm still clicking buttons over here. I need to stop. Let me. Whoop. Let me grab this. Zoop. Like the priest ability, but instead both activate instead of choosing. Oh. Well, we have the priest who has now 2 whisper stones that actually recharge each day instead of just being the one. They're one use, but if he hangs onto them, they get another use the next day. And he rolls randomly to see what effect he gets, and if he doesn't like it, he can re-roll once each stone. And then there's the corrupted. I think he was called a corrupted priest once upon a time, but now it's just the corrupted, and that's the guy who starts with the corrupted whisper stone. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure I'm going to change to where instead of you take a hit that can be healed, every time you use that corrupted whisper stone and roll a 1, your max HP goes down by 1. So it's going to be way more dangerous, but that you can roll less d6s. That way it doesn't get so silly. And like, should balance out. But like, it's going to be risky. Because he gets some perks to like avoid some 1s. So if you're rolling less d6s, that makes that perk way more efficient. Way more better. But both activate. Yeah, you're getting to shoot off 2 whisper stones at the same time would be. I have been finding though that rolling whisper stones randomly has been very inefficient. I think poor Blaze has burned through quite a few whisper stones that he didn't know what did. Like, I don't know what they do. It ends up being something totally useless in the situation. So. It's fun though. So you gotta take them to town and get them identified. So really, that's something for me to toy with behind the scenes, though, the lore. But I wanted to share the idea because I thought it was cool. I got excited about the deep lore because that's what I do. I'm the writer. I make up things, not mechanics. So I know Kazdoc left, but I liked his. I think I like his idea for the perk. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I think in this, it's to keep the frog on you. I might make your armor save. Don't do that. Don't fill it in. Make it 6. 5 plus with frog. How about that? If you keep the frog on you, you get a better armor save. 6. The armor saves are so hard in Easy D6 to find a good spot, because like 6 is really, you'll take your armor's not very good. But when you go down to 5, it makes a huge difference. And then 4, it's like, oh man, I got a 50% chance every time. I really like the idea that a trained creator can translate the Whisper Stone 2 different ways. Though the Hollow Stone would have a separate chart for the most big. Yeah, so the Corrupted Whisper Stones, they work like core Easy D6 schools of magic, or circles of sorcery, I think they were called. Where it's like, here's this, like the prismatic, you do stuff with light. It's like, okay, you can make the whole room dark, you can make a ball of light that's so bright you blind your opponent and burn his retinas, or you can make yourself invisible because you're just changing the way the light bounces off of you, or you can make it look like there's things that aren't really there, or you can make it look like there's shadows moving because it's all light based, but it's very broad but contained at the same time. It's like, okay, you know, whatever you can come up with, as long as it fits in this category, you can do. So the brown sight for the lizards among the dust, and the colorless crying of the end among the fish. Oh, the brown sigh. Okay, okay. Let's... the old track. The idea of translating a stone 2 different ways, that's interesting. Mistranslating it. Oh, you're considering Hollowstone being different than there's. Well, no, we're gonna regular Whisperstone and Corrupted Whisperstone, I think, is where we need to draw the line before we get to having too many stones. We did, I think, a while back consider different colored stones, or I remember multiple different stones, and I was like, dang it, you could make a whole game off the stones. And the guy who comes through here every now and then, Swords and Stones, he has one that's like that. The different colored stones do different things, but it would also be a very not Moss and Stone type of game. No, all good, man. All good. Don't expect people to keep up with all this nonsense I keep streaming. It's a lot of streams. And a lot of things keep changing. And it's all good. A frog for your thoughts. Or maybe just froggy thoughts. Can I send you the opening of my new setting and get your thoughts on it as a writer? Yeah, I mean, you could send it to me. You could send it to me right now, if you want. But let's see. Because like I was saying, I got a video I gotta get edited. I'm time crunching. Let's see. Where's my calendar? Why can't I find it? Here it is. Okay, I know something's missing on my calendar for tomorrow. Oh God. What did I book for tomorrow that's not there? I actually have a story I'm supposed to be editing this weekend. Somebody's short story. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. But yeah, send it. I mean, don't let me discourage that. You can send it over. I don't know how long it is, so if it's this little short thing, I might be able to knock it out. But I can give it a skim. Give it a little skim. I've only really joined the last half dozen, so I feel terribly behind. That's okay. I mean, if you started at the beginning, it wouldn't be relevant anymore anyway. You feel inspired today? I would say so. You're knocking it out with them stones. Oh, I see a DM from you, Cyros, so well, it looks like you already sent it over, so that's good. I feel like we already listened to this one. Alright. And I think the other thing I need to do... Oh, I didn't write that down. That's what I was thinking about giving him. Remove counter attack because it's a predator ability. Add conjurer's wand. As the swarm. Okay, let's do that. I think that will be pretty good. The Swarm Master still might need a little something else, but that's a good start. Okay. Stream destabilizing. That's on your end, man. I say, I can check. Well, it might be on your end this time. A really egotistical thought crossed my mind. Well, let's hear it, and then we'll probably shut her down. Because we will be so offended. No, because I need to eat and edit a video. Oh, the Frank 2 followed. I'm sorry, dude. I thought you were already following. I just now saw that. Appreciate that. If you're still around. I mean, even if you're not around, I still appreciate it. I think you just had a hiccup, Wisp. I'll say, I think I got my stream figured out. As far as that buffering issues and nonsense goes. Do I just... Dude, I've told you you've written a ton of this. Like, that's why we got you a twice dead swamp. You got your whole thing. So yeah, if you want to... Well, I don't think we can have another twice dead name something, but... What you got? What you got? And then I remember that as your project after all. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying now. No, man. So what I want to do is figure out a way. It says I don't know how to do. But the one is there. Like the people who have been participating in the streams and stuff, like I want names in the book. I'm picky about how that gets done. Like it's super fun in Ironbound, if you were a backer, you could have an NPC. You could make an NPC. You know, and a lot of people made a lot of silly NPCs. I wouldn't like that in my project, whatever I was working on. It's like, man, it's like joke characters are fun and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like that it's kind of like DLC for some video games. Like some things are just so detached from the core feature, product, whatever. So I was like, how do I get names and stuff of people in here in a way, I guess, immersive, that feels like it's part of it. I mean, obviously, Twice Dead Swamp was a great one. I feel like anyway, because it's got the name, but it's also the lore. Like it makes sense why you die twice, and you got to help make that stuff. But there's other things you've done, and obviously I can't make a swamp level thing for everybody who has come through and participated. And it's like, okay, well, where's that line? And then if I start trying to make things based off people's names and everything else, then the whole project kind of becomes a mess, I feel like. So I want a fun way to get the people that were involved in the book, even if it's just like a page at the beginning with a list of names and a piece of art that has them all like as individual characters or something. I don't know. The Twice Dead Swamp's pretty cool. So, but like I said, I don't want people to go unaccredited. Because like this has very much been a community project. I mean, I understand like I'm doing a lot behind the scenes, and obviously I'm the one forking over the money, but like you guys were still involved. You were throwing ideas. You helped me brainstorm a lot of this. You were all my rubber ducks, and then, like I said, some of your ideas just went right from you to whoop into the game. So if you got that involved, you ended up being a hollow tongue. I love the Rainbow Road track. What's up, Smug? You're here just in time for the end. There you go. You have that in the book. Special thanks to Smug. So I don't know. I've thought about it repeatedly, and that's why that's one reason that I put these little chat messages here. It's like, oh, what? There's one from Swords and Stone, and lots of Twice Dead ones. Oh, that was, we were trying to figure out the translate thing. Let's say, like, here's one from Crabsoft. Hey, here's one from Smug. Like, talking about speaking critters, just like little things. And here's some from Whispering Wisp. Like, it's like, I don't want that to just get lost. Here's one from Vending Machine, the Venomancer. Things like that. And, you know, some of these ideas don't get used. Some do, so. There's one from Sabbath. Affects critters is because one stone empties and becomes... Hey, there's a bit about the hollow stones we were talking about. Yeah. Yep. So things like that. It's like, hey, and Daniel... Yeah, Digital and Daniel. He had some cool ones, too. So. And, like... Do I want to put just YouTube usernames on there, or... I don't know. But you're here to provide moral support. It counts. A fairy fire like Wisp Hollow Tongue, always burning softly as an omen of death. Zelda in Mario Kart. That is what this track is. It's also very high-pitched. Hyrule Circuit. So, I don't know. That's, like I said, that's been something I've been thinking about very early on in these streams when people started really throwing out some ideas, and probably like the first idea that I took. It's like, oh, it's like, wait, I gotta make sure this person gets credit. It's gonna be a big long page. So, Griffin Spade, he's been, I wanted to make an item that was called the Griffin Spade just because he was an early adopter, we will say. He was watching the streams. He's usually doesn't get to catch them live, but he was like commenting on the early streams. It's like, oh, like he's watching these in full. Like, okay, he's invested. So, a little shout outs and tributes, because you know, I mean, I don't know if you're joking or not, Ben, about moral sport, but like that's when you find out somebody's watching these streams, you know, these 2-hour streams in full, or mostly in full at least, and they're commenting on things you talked about in the stream, like pretty deep into it. So that's how I know it's like, oh, he's really watching these things. Like that is, it sounds cheesy, but it's super helpful and motivating, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I did this big long stream and this person watched it. Like they're interested. So that goes a long way. But anyway, it's all helpful. Likes, comments, views, chats, ideas. Subscribe. As the wizard says in the videos, like and subscribe, baby. Billy the Wizard. Anyway, guys, I am going to bounce. I need to get some food in me. Because I think, well, somebody is wanting to meet up for dinner. So maybe I'll just wait till dinner. I don't know. Either way. I do need to bounce and get a video edited. See what Cyros has cooking over there. And May's coming up. I gotta hit the road. So, you leave comments, but they're usually pretty shallow. Just trying to get the comment counts up. Yeah, no, I see what you're doing. It does help. It does help. I will say YouTube, I have learned, supposedly filters out comments that say, comment for the algorithm. It just doesn't count them. So, what you're doing works, mustache. You get more views if you dress as a squirrel every stream. Maybe. That mask would get so toasty. It would get so toasty. Anyway, I will see y'all later. I don't know. We'll figure out what's going on next week. I have a couple days before I hit the road, so maybe we'll squeeze a stream in. See y'all sometime.